myself. I'm Christian Gorini. I'm professor in the Sorbonne University in Paris. And I am a geoscientist, marine geology first, but now I'm working on Earth, and especially on the problematic of source to sink. And I will show you two examples of source to sink today, a sedimentary example and a chemical example with my colleague from Marseille, which is here, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. And first of all, this perception of risk is very important because it deals with the problems of the relation what we have with society, with scientists, and the problem of complotism. First of all, I have an example from my friend. I had it recently, yesterday, David Jacopini, and he told me, well, look, we are scientists, we want to know the truth. We wanted to drill in a very hot, I would say, region in Napoli to do scientist drill, and all the population came and were against us because they were thinking that drilling will make all the region exploded. And I think we will have to take this very seriously because this perception of risk, we are talking about population, but we also have different perception of risk with scientists. For example, when I will show you two examples today, and we have to take in mind that all the problems on the Earth are linked with the problem of the sea. If we have, because the Mediterranean Sea is growing, is more and more warm, you have very huge problem of heavy rains. This rains is making all the sediments and the pollution transported to the ocean, and we really have problems with biodiversity too. That's why this term of perception of risk is not only in the population, but also between us scientists. And that's why I think CIESM must really push the project, as we do in the CNRS nowadays, push the research which are transdisciplinary, and all the research which is built together with society at the really beginning. Well, coastal regions, of course, are vulnerable. Extreme weather events and human activity exert considerable pressure on biodiversity and marine resources, including fishery. But the problem is, what is a hazard? What is a risk? What do we mean by perception? And from whom? And for understanding this, I think also we have to work with the human science, with scientists. We as scientists often struggle with real transdisciplinarity because of our self-centered approach. The necessity for the future CIESM chairs is, at my point of view, to continue highlighting interdisciplinarity projects, and this is crucial for addressing complex global challenges. Interdisciplinarity dimension must remain at the core of the CIESM work. As a CIESM scientist, we could identify maybe a specific region to tackle a major and complex issue. For example, we will see later, the Marseille region in France could serve as a potential success story, while the Bay of Naples represents significant challenge. Risk is defined differently by various communities, as I talked to before, as today's presentations also suggest. This variability can lead to confusion among scientists and policymakers, impacting public perception and response strategies regarding risk associated with coastal phenomena, biodiversity, and, which is very important too, food security. And the link between coastal phenomena, biodiversity, food security is clear, or not clear, for many of us. Coastal regions are vulnerable to extreme weather and human activities. And this put a lot of pressure on biodiversity and marine resources, like fisheries. An example from Sanchez et al. 2 days ago, I think, in this Congress, highlight that together we must develop response strategies that address both ecological and socioeconomic challenges for local population. Pollution, particularly in the coastal area, ties together terrestrial and marine debates, as I told before, in a source-to-sink point of view. And these two examples I will show you now will illustrate that matter. With intensification of global urbanization, pollution, and especially plastic pollution and these industrial discharges, have become significant contributors to environmental degradation. We have to keep in mind that approximately 80% of marine plastic originate from land-based sources and are, of course, transported by river into ocean, highlighting the interconnectedness of land and sea ecosystem. Another risk is invasive species. We see many presentations, and invasive species in marine ecosystem represent an environmental risk whose perception is often unclear as their impact on biodiversity. Ecosystem stability, economic activities is not always well understood by general public and policymakers. Well, now two examples. The first example is where I work. It's very near Monaco, and it's the region of the Roya Valley. Extreme rainfall events in 2020 linked to Mediterranean Sea warming impacted this coastal region, and the effect of anthropogenic pollution due also to the fact that many sediments have been transported in the ocean, like you can see here, had a strong impact of marine ecosystem, but also on marine transport. I do a zoom here, and you can see here that you have many tree trunks who are floating, hundreds of, and it's among 46 hectares of trunks in the ocean. And at that time, all the military from France and from Italy should have came here to resolve this problem in urgence. Sorry. We really have to face these huge rainfall because of the Mediterranean Sea, which is becoming more and more warm. And these events were before millenary events will be probably, I would say, every 10 years, but in the Roya Valley, there is now, since 10 years, we have this kind of events. No, since, I would say, 5 years, we have this kind of event every 3 years, which is quite important to keep in mind, too. Things are changing very, very fast, and I am not sure that we can control it now. And maybe because the impact of tempest of Storm Alex on the watershed was very, very important, and the pre-existing geology influenced the scale of erosion, landslides, and transport of large quantity of sediment downstream. Here you can see these small rivers, and people forgot that these events could happen, and you had a lot of construction in the space which can be taken by the river when the storm is happening. And all this white stuff here are sediments. You can see here, this is the bridge, the train which is linking Ventimiglia to Cuneo. And here all this village is totally destroyed. You can see here. Oop. And this has a price also. Flood of October 2020 in the Alpes-Maritimes affected 15,000 people, 1 billion euro for reconstruction. And Hurricane Boris in Poland affected 60,000 people to 100,000 people, and the estimated costs were more than 10 billion euros. No evaluation of the source to sink price has been done in these two cases. Again, from the drainage basin to coastal system, we really have a link, which is the rivers. And this could have a very strong impact of the biodiversity too. But no studies has been done on these two examples. My experience in the Roya Valley is that by working together since the very beginning and with the association and with the population, we could design a really co-created, collaborative project which has incorporated the knowledge and experiences of local population with association. And this have really pushed our research to a nice issue. No one knows their territory better than those who live there. We have also a question, facilitator artists, what can they be for us? And facilitators and artists could, in this valley of the Roya, created the link between the scientists and the civil society. This is an example in French, sorry, but by this, with the help of these people, we really could communicate with the people in the valley, and they really had a different, we could see an evolution of the perception of the risk with them. That means creating the link between scientists and civil society and making civil society an active participant for associations from the beginning of the project construction could be a nice solution too. And I have another project, but I think my colleagues will be better for me to explain this, but it is also a project source to sinks. We are not talking about sediment now, but about chemicals.
Thank you. I'm Stéphanie Jacquet, a marine researcher in marine chemistry, and just a few words about the Interfaces project. This is an interdisciplinary work on the impact of deep-sea tailing practices, especially waste from the Garden alumina plant, right? Oh, sorry. Into the Mediterranean at the top of the Cassidan Canyon. And this is a very good case study and success story for examining metal contamination in the marine environment and from a society perspective, because this is a very controversial issue in the public arena in France. The point is that there is a gap, a big gap between what we actually know about the waste and how the society perceives the problem. And despite the improvement in managing the disposal from the plant, the controversy has not stopped. And at the core of this is how the society sees industrial waste, the associated risk, and how we protect the environment. So we conducted, studied on the data transfer on scientific communication between the industrial, the policymakers, the committee in monitoring the industrial compliance, and the civil society. And the focus is on how the data supported the debates or fueled the controversy, and how we can better share knowledge in managing waste, so to break the controversy or to prevent from it in similar cases. Thank you.
just conclude, maybe. This experience also raises question. Yes, just this question: should we involve facilitated artists? How can we identify key issue with environment organization? How can we better understand the personal stories, stakeholders? How can we avoid public scientific contradiction that lead to confusion and disturb? What strategies can we use to address misconception and conspiracy theories? And should we engage more with school and collaborate with the university? I will stop here. And I just want to show you this wonderful image from offshore Morocco to show the relation also between geodiversity and biodiversity. By chance, we discovered this huge cold coral area preserved on this top in the seafloor. And this is also the place where most of the North Moroccan fishermen are fishing. And now the question is, we talk with them and with the government, and the question is, should we do this a protected area? And how can we deal with the fishing to continue to fish and in the same time to protect the area? And that's it. Thank you.